Welcome, everyone, to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the corner of the internet where whispers turn into stories, where feeling leads the way, and where the spotlight doesn't blind us to what's real. If you're new here, tap subscribe and hit join to stand with this growing family. And if you believe love doesn't need a neon sign to be believed, leave a like. Tonight, we drift into the gentle glow of Cemre, where two people quietly decided to stop speaking in code, and a city, almost by accident, witnessed a truth step into the open. There was no grand entrance. No velvet rope theatrics. Just an ordinary evening on a street that knows how to keep confidences, warm lights through glass, friends leaning toward one another over shared food, a breeze that tugged at hems and hair. The door swung open and laughter spilled out, and there they were, Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, emerging side by side, their hands linked with a confidence so calm it hardly felt like a reveal at all. The simplicity said more than any red carpet. Their fingers met not for a headline, but for each other, as if the city had slowly caught up to a feeling too patient to be staged. For months, those who watched closely had noticed it in the in-between, a look that lingered half a second longer, the easy way conversation returned to life the moment they were both in frame. And yet, nothing was declared. Nothing loud. Tonight, that hush found its shape in a gesture that asked for no applause. The restaurant emptied in gentle waves. Friends said their goodnights, a small group clustered before fanning out into the night. Then came the sharp white blink of a flash. The first shutter cut the quiet, head swiveled, voices sharpened. Questions came, and with them the instinct that usually kicks in, the actor's reflex to step back or make a joke and slide away. But Gökberk didn't retreat. He held on, just a fraction firmer, and shifted his body towards Cemre as if to say, "I've got you." The gesture was protective without being possessive. His posture wasn't defiance, it was acceptance. Here we are. Cemre, composed as ever, didn't turn her grace into a performance. Her hair fell loose over the collar of a jacket tailored just enough to frame her subtle elegance. No dramatics, no exaggerated smile. She radiated the sort of presence that needs no permission. If anything, it looked like a pair of people leaving dinner, not a spectacle being introduced. Is this what we think it is? The inevitable question arrived as smoothly as a practiced line. Before answering, Gökberk sought Cemre's eyes, just a heartbeat of silent conversation, the quiet alignment that happens when two people share the same page, and then faced the cluster of cameras with a half-smile that carried more humor than tension. "You don't miss much," he said, gentle amusement threading through his voice. "Seems like there isn't much left for us to keep off the record anymore. No PR script. No stiff rebuttal. No flustered denial. Just a soft truth stepping into the light and refusing to blink." Cemre followed with words that felt like a hand laid over the moment, "We're content. Thank you for giving us room." The line was spare, but it landed with weight. A smile came with it, steady, luminous, unhurried, and the air relaxed an inch. Those close to them had seen this unfolding long before, the way levity found them between takes, the comfort in shared silence, the ease that strolls in when familiarity is real. What had formed wasn't crafted for curiosity. It was built with the patient, deliberate care of two people who value trust more than noise. Friends tell the story with a shrug because it lives in ordinary details, a rehearsal that stretched late and ended with a walk to a coffee spot, a drink left waiting without any fuss, a conversation that didn't know how to stop. The foundation wasn't fireworks. It was rhythm. Over time, that rhythm matured into a pact: protect what matters while it's still learning how to stand. They made separate arrivals, chose different exits, parried questions with good humor. Privacy wasn't secrecy, it was stewardship. But every private story that's meant to be known eventually finds its doorway to daylight. When the images from that night hit the feeds, everything quickened. In minutes, timelines bloomed with screenshots and gentle detective work. The angle of her shoulders angled into his, the small movement of his thumb tracing the ridge of her hand, the softness in the glance they kept exchanging as if the rest of the city had dimmed. The internet didn't erupt with scandal, it exhaled with affection. Comments read like a chorus, "This is the reveal we were rooting for." You kept it yours, and we respect it. The way they look at each other? That's the whole thing. It wasn't chaos. It was a celebration. Someone close to both of them added what fans already felt: they've known each other longer than most people realize. They're both private by instinct. None of this is for headlines. It's been steady for a while. The words didn't whip up fresh drama. They softened the edges of the story, anchoring it to a truth that didn't need decoration. Seahanger, a neighborhood built from alleys and stories, is always ready to turn a quiet sighting into lore told over late coffee. That night became one of those tales. The staff, people said, were the kind of knowing smiles that aren't smug so much as warm. Their friends moved easily, the air stayed light, and when the lamps outside painted the pavement in gold, it felt less like an unveiling and more like a sigh. The flashes kept coming. A direct question landed: "Are you two officially together?" No defensiveness. No show. Just a brief laugh from Gökberk that dissolved the static like rain on heat. "You've seen what you needed to," he replied. "We're not pretending otherwise anymore." A page seemed to turn in the crowd, a quiet ripple of relief moving outward. Cemre added her own sentence, as simple and pure as breath: "We're in a good place." That's really all there is. Online, those words looped as if they were lyrics. People shared the clip with captions about serenity and intention. Now comes the stretch that proves who they are: scripts piling up, rehearsals cutting into midnight, call sheets that turn weeks into blurs. Yet the people around them keep repeating the same observation: they plan. They speak plainly. They draw lines that honor what's theirs. The boundary is steady: no shows inside the show, no prearranged walks past cameras, no dressing their feelings in glitter for numbers. The irony is that restraint made them brighter. In an industry that trades in visibility, they picked grace instead of noise. Viewers sensed as much. That's why one frame, two hands meeting in the flare of a flash, plays in the mind like a promise rather than a stunt. In so many romances, there's a single scene that becomes the shorthand for all the rest. For Gökberk and Cemre, it might be that seamless link of fingers caught between light bursts. He looked at her before he looked at the crowd. He said "you first" without a sound. That response told the whole story more clearly than any interview could. Even as the night thinned and the city settled back into itself, they avoided theatrics. No turned-back waves to stoke more pictures, no orchestrated goodbye. They moved like they always do, together, unhurried, shoulder to shoulder. A taxi murmured by. Somewhere, someone laughed 3 streets away. The door of their car closed with a soft click. And yet the image remained, bright as if it had been stitched into the evening: 2 people choosing presence over performance. By morning, timelines shimmered. Not with speculation sharpened into knives, but with goodwill. Makeup artists who stood under the same harsh light spoke about their kindness. A wardrobe assistant mentioned how they say thank you without ceremony. A grip from a night shoot remembered the way they wait for the last person to be ready before walking away. One technician wrote the sentence that traveled farthest: "It's true and it's gentle. Let them enjoy it." The comment moved faster than the photos themselves. For once, the appetite wasn't for a twist. It was for the calm of recognizing something genuine. The moment slipped past gossip and landed somewhere rare, a shared breath of contentment between people who rarely agree on anything online. Even insiders began to talk, but not about strategy or contracts. They talked about tone, the posture of it all. No crisis management, no drip of pre-planned hints, no hand in the press. Just presence showing itself without apology. Some producers, maybe looking for lessons, murmured about whether this could change how public love stories are allowed to unfold. Authenticity still draws a crowd, it turns out, as long as you don't try to bottle it. What lingers now is more than a picture. It's a small emblem of tenderness in an age obsessed with spectacle: 2 silhouettes keeping the same pace on a Seahanger street, palms threaded, faces soft with the ease that comes from being understood. People keep replaying that sliver of time because it isn't performing for them, it's simply being. And perhaps that's why it echoed so widely. It wasn't a revelation so much as permission to move without armor, to let quiet things live where everyone can see them and still remain whole. In the weeks to come, they'll return to their scripts and schedules, to scenes that ask for tears on cue and joy on demand. But what everyone will remember is a night that asked for nothing and gave, somehow, everything. A calm declaration. A layered glance. A promise carried in the effortless press of two hands answering the same question at once. The city goes on, and so do they, no fanfare needed. And the story becomes one more thread in the fabric of a place that keeps secrets well but loves when the truth chooses to walk with its head up. So tell us, dear viewers, was this the most honest reveal we've witnessed in a long while? Should public figures hold their love close and let it breathe in private, or is there value in moments like this, tiny windows that let us see what steadiness looks like? Share your thoughts in the comments, we read them, every one. If stories that honor feeling over noise matter to you, tap like, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and hit the join button so we can keep bringing you the heartbeats behind the headlines. Because in this space, we believe the brightest truths don't blaze down a red carpet, they drift under sea hanger streetlights, hand in hand, and ask for nothing more than to be seen as they are.